Okay, from watching the video clip, you learn that a concept in science can either be a law or a theory. Okay, so this table here in my slide shows the difference between scientific laws and scientific theories. Okay, so scientific laws and theory are proven, but scientific theories is still testable. Okay, so scientific laws and scientific theories have evidences, but unlike scientific laws, this has result. So, those scientific laws and theories are supported by a large body of data, evidences. Scientific law and scientific theory are not the same thing. A scientific law is a description of an observed natural phenomena, for example, the Newton's law of gravity or the Mendel's law of independent assortment. This law simply describes the observation. It doesn't explain why the phenomenon exists or what causes it. The explanation of the phenomenon is based on scientific theory. It is a misconception that theories turns into law with enough research. For example, the law of gravity, which was discovered by Isaac Newton in 17th century. This law mathematically describes how two different bodies in the universe interact with each other. However, Newton's law doesn't explain what gravity is or how it works. Okay, so this law of Isaac Newton is just based on the observation. Okay, it is proven, yes, it is testable, yes, and in different condition. It wasn't until 3 centuries later when Albert Einstein developed the theory of relativity. This theory of relativity explained what gravity is and how it works. Now, why this was a theory of relativity? Because the condition or the concept of Albert Einstein of what gravity is and how it works was not testable in all cases, in all conditions. So there is a limitation on how can we test their postulates or their theories. Another example is the theory of evolution. Theory of evolution is still theory even though there are so many evidences that is showing that animals and human evolved through time. But still, we cannot test this one. We cannot go back in time and test this theory of evolution. That's why they remain a theory. So I hope that is clear on the difference between a law and a theory, because later on we will use these ideas, this concept for our activity. The next one we have to define is what is technology. Technology comes from two Greek words translated into techne and logos. Techne means art, skill, craft, or the way, manner, or means, while logos means word. Now, here, technology is use of scientific knowledge for practical purpose or application. If science is a way of knowing, definitely technology is a way of doing. So, in short, technology is the application of science. Now, we will define our technology based on this definition. Okay? Technology can either be a product or a knowledge, method, or techniques. So, product, the other word for product is an artifact. So, artifact fabricated by human to meet needs like tools, machines, and medicine. There are technology as a product. While technology as a process or a knowledge or a method, a system of implicit and explicit knowledge, techniques, and materials utilized in using, making, or repairing a certain kind of product. Now, I will show you the picture of an example. So, technology as a product and technology as a process. This group of pictures here, the cell phone, satellite, the computer, the modem, we can say that these are technology as a product. Okay, but if we are going to refer this as the process of what we call internet, we can say that internet is a process. Okay, so technology as a process. Okay, now here, technology as a process, if we are going to be specific on the hat, the cart, the gas mask, and so on, we are talking about products. But if we will talk about this picture as a group, I'm referring to the process of mining. Same with this is the process of refining, and this is the process of food processing. Okay, so I'm talking about group of pictures, and this one here is a process of surgery which is done in medicine. So these are the examples of technology as a process, and these are the technology as a product. Other than technology, let's define now what is society. The term society emerged in 15th century in France, which is société. Okay, but it came from the root word socius, means companion, associate, comrade, or a business partner. Now, let's define society based on this definition. Society is a group of people with common territory, interaction, or culture. Okay, so if the people in the Philippines, okay, we are in one territorial land, therefore we can be grouped as one society based on territory or one land. The same with the people in Saudi Arabia, since they are one territory, one land, so therefore they are one society. Same in the US, same territory, same lands, therefore one society. Now, if we are going to talk about the people in Mindanao commonly who believes in Islam, and the people also in Saudi Arabia who also believe in Islam, therefore we can say that they are one society based on their culture. And lastly, um, based on interaction, if there are foreign nationals who go to the Philippines and we became friends to them, so we interact to them, and they uh, and they belong to our one social group, so therefore we can call them as one society. Okay, or you can call yourself as one society because you belong to a society that interacts. So I hope the definition of science, technology, and society are clear to you, because later on we will use this for our activity. The second part of our discussion will be the interaction of science, technology, and society. Based on the picture here, there are 6 ways on how they interact, okay? So let's start with science, okay? Interacts with technology. So science informs technology. We cannot develop any technology without the help of science. And at the same time, we cannot advance more on technology if we don't know science. Okay? So technology demands more on science while science informs technology. The next interaction is science to society. Commonly, the development of science and technology starts with society because society demands more on science and society benefits from technology. While technology is made to make life easier for the society, at the same time, society benefits from the technology. So I will give you a specific example, and this is what you're going to do to your activity later. So this one is the interaction of science, technology, and society during pandemic. Here I have the triangle, okay, the relationship, the 6-way relationship of this science, technology, and society. Then I have here the picture. The first picture here, which is the society, talks about the society who is experiencing the pandemic. Now, as I said, commonly, the development of science and technology starts from the society. Now, since our society today is experiencing a pandemic due to COVID-19, they demand more on science on what they're going to do. Since the science do not more about this coronavirus during the early period of this pandemic, they have to study and research on it. Now, when they know that the characteristic of coronavirus like this was covered by protein and the size of a particle that cannot pass through with a mass with a certain degree. So they seeks to improve the society by advising them that they can use a disinfection solution or alcohol so that they can kill the virus. They are also advised that they should wear mask or face shield because this coronavirus can penetrate through mouth, nose, or eyes. So these things about the characteristic of this coronavirus was known because of the researchers who do the experiment on the coronavirus. Now, on the technology part, okay, at the start of this coronavirus, many medical practitioners use different vaccine like flu vaccine, pneumonia vaccines, or the SARS vaccine to fight coronavirus. And they found out that these vaccines are not effective to fight coronavirus. That's why this technology, the pharmacist, the vaccine maker, demands more on science, okay? Demands more on science on what they're going to do and what vaccine should they do so that they can fight coronavirus. Now, since the researchers already know the characteristics of the coronavirus, they inform the technology on what vaccine and what type of vaccine they're going to do. Okay, so that is the relationship of science and technology. As of now, we are in the phase 3 of the development of the coronavirus vaccine. If this will be available now to the public, this vaccine will make life easier to the society. At the same time, the society benefits from this vaccine because they can now fight the coronavirus. Then later on, we can now go back to our normal life. So that is the interaction of science, technology, and society. So I hope that is clear for an example you are going to do later. For your activity 1, give at least 2 specific examples where in science, technology, and society interacts and explain how each other interacts. So letter A, science drives the development of technology. So these are the relationship. Okay, B, science to society. C, technology to science. D, technology to society. E, society to science. And F, society to technology. So please follow the format so that if I will check your activity, I will use this pattern that every A that I will check will be talking about the interaction of science to technology. All B's, okay, that I will be checking will be the interaction of science to society and so on. So here, you will do 2 examples of this. Okay, you have to be specific on your picture. You have to replace the picture of the society, technology, and the science. On my example, you will use a specific example. And since not all of you will recite for this activity, you cannot defend your activity, please write here what society are you referring. So for my example, I'm referring for the society who are experiencing coronavirus. What technology are you referring to your picture? In my case, I'm referring for the COVID-19 vaccine. And for my science here, so I'm referring for the characteristic of the coronavirus. So for example, what will be my answer for letter A? Science drives the development of technology. For my example of my science is the characteristic of the coronavirus. This result of the researchers in finding out the characteristic of coronavirus informs the technologies, the manufacturer, the vaccine manufacturers on what type of vaccine they're going to do. So that is the interaction for letter A. So I hope the activity is clear. Okay, you can do this in any format. You can do this in PowerPoint, Word, Canva, or so on. But please, when you submit this to the assignment tab, as much as possible, it will be in PDF or in JPEG format so that it will not be distorted when you submit it to me.